Welcome to Stream of Conscience, brought to you by Democracy for America, Fairfield County, where we believe that change is possible and you can make it happen. I'm your host, John Hartwell. Our guests today are Kathy Hodge and Danny Ramalho. Kathy is co-chair of Horizons at GFA, an educational enrichment program serving children from Bridgeport using facilities and resources from Greens Farms Academy in Westport. Kathy brings a variety of experiences to her volunteer position, having worked as a foreign currency trader, family therapist, and interior designer. But perhaps most importantly, she's a mother of three. Kathy, welcome to Stream of Conscience.
Thank you, John.
Danny Ramalho attended Bridgeport schools and began the Horizons program in the 3rd grade, which he attended through high school. He's now a sophomore at Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston and has returned each summer to Horizons to help younger kids in the program. Danny, welcome to Stream of Conscience.
Thank you for having me.
So, before we get going, I'd like to just get a little background on the schools in Bridgeport. From my understanding, the only 1 in 4 Bridgeport elementary school children read at the grade level. That 1 in 10 Bridgeport high school students perform on grade level in reading and math, and that only virtually just more than half of the kids coming into Bridgeport schools actually graduate, which is obviously for a society those are terrible numbers.
Yes.
Now, Danny, you went through the school system in Bridgeport. Can you talk about your experience there?
Well, going through these, Bridgeport schools, it's actually, I wouldn't say it's like really tough, but I mean, I was always kind of one of those, I don't want to brag, but smarter kids in my class. But I do remember being in elementary school, kind of reading above my grade level. And then I got to middle school, and for some reason I was kind of below my grade level. And I was kind of confused about that. I didn't know why that was happening. But yeah, I mean, socially, it's kind of a negative place to be, It's kind of hard to learn with all this drama and things going on around you.
So it's not a great situation to be in if you're a kid.
I wouldn't say so.
Wouldn't say so.
Yeah.
But Horizons at GFA is a program that helps to mitigate that in some respects. And Kathy, you've been involved with Horizons now for a few years. You're co-chair.
14 years.
14 years. Wow. 14 years. What is Horizons? What does it do? Why is it there?
Our goal really, one of the biggest reasons that the education gap exists is that there's an issue with summer slide, in that children...
Summer slide.
Summer slide.
Okay.
Which means that during the summer months, children from more affluent communities keep up or even advance because of their summer activities, family trips, reading, etc., etc. And so when kids come back to school in the fall, they're ready to go. Whereas what we find with a lot of lower income urban communities is that kids really aren't doing much during the summer. So New Canaan Country School started a long time ago, 40 years ago, a program at New Canaan Country School, and my mother and father 14 years ago decided that they wanted to start a similar program, so they went around to various schools, and Greens Farms Academy was the one school that said, yes, we'd like to do this, we're willing to donate our facilities and our all sorts of in-kind services that GFA provides to us. So that's where the program started from. We started with a kindergarten and 1st grade, and now we go all the way to 12th grade. Just really stepped up our high school program in the last couple of years, where we have it's a year-round program, which is separate from the K through 8, which I can go into more detail about that later if you'd like.
So let's talk about the basic program,
right.
The K through 8 program. What happens here? Because you're talking about summer slide.
Right.
So you've got a program that operates during the summer, and what does it do?
It's a 6-week academic program. Kids come to the campus at 8:30 in the morning. We have academics all morning. In a ratio of 4 to 1. We have 4 either teachers, teaching interns, or volunteers in the classroom. We have 16 kids in a class, so every class is 4 to 1 ratio. And it really is an academic program. I mean, it's, yes, in the afternoon we do a lot of fun stuff, but primarily we consider ourselves an academic program. We test beginning of the summer, we test at the end of the summer. We compile our scores and compare them to the other 20 Wide Horizons programs across the country. So it's an academic program. We also have Saturday Academy 10 Saturdays during the school year. So our main program is 6 weeks during the summer, every day. Then during the school year, we have 10 Saturday Academies where the kids come back to GFA for a morning of academics. In the last 4 years, we focused mainly on reading and writing program.
And the Saturday program, is that for all the kids?
Everyone.
K through 12?
K through 8.
K through 8.
So the K through 8 program is at the GFA campus.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 through 12 program, which we started 3 years ago, is primarily, it's during the academic year, so different from the K through 8, and it's a one-on-one program. So we have guidance school counselors and teachers and people that we hire to do one-on-one tutoring and mentoring with any of our high school kids who want to take advantage of that. So, for instance, Danny came after the fact, but had he been there a couple years earlier, he could have had a mentor, and he also could have had an academic coach for any subject that he was struggling with. And they meet close to the kid's school, maybe at a library or Starbucks. So it's really it's a very close mentoring relationship.
And so that is off campus. That's not at GFA.
Yes, that's correct. And then during the summer, the high school kids will come to campus for 2 weeks to do SAT prep, ACT prep, college essays, all the stuff to help kids get ready for college. But that's only 2 weeks because during the summer, a lot of the high school kids get jobs. So
right.
we can't. That we had to shift it to the academic year, so that the kids would have time to get together with their coaches.
Danny, you started this in the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
What did it seem like to you as a 3rd grader coming out of Bridgeport to Greens Farms Academy with a bunch of other kids from Bridgeport? How did that work for you?
I mean, in 3rd grade, I didn't really know why I was there.
You didn't know how you got into the program?
I really didn't understand it.
So it was like summer camp?
Yeah, it was just like summer camp to me at 3rd grade. But I remember like during my 4th grade year,
mm-hmm.
I had to go give some kind of speech to at a fundraiser event, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And
as a 4th grader?
As a 4th grader.
You're making a speech?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I remember this. It's kind of this poster, and it kind of explained what Horizons was about and why all the students were there, and that's where I kind of started to understand.
And how many of your friends were in the program?
I mean, friends, I actually had 2 cousins in the same grade and a brother.
All together?
A brother was in kindergarten at the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so you stayed with the program through your high school years?
Yeah, I was going back for, we had like a week or 2 where we'd go back and study SAT.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
And what do you think the benefit was to you?
It really did help me throughout the summers, like transitioning from, one grade to another, where, as we talked about the summer slide, where you kind of like, lose a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of just brought me to another level where, I started the year off better than most kids would.
And were there other kids in your grade or in your school who were going to the program?
Oh, yeah, there was actually a few kids I knew. They were in different classes, but yeah, we all went to Horizons together.
Now, Kathy, the Horizons program you mentioned is around the country at this point.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. There's our parent organization is Horizons National, which is located in Norwalk, Connecticut, and their programs. I'm going to say there's 20, but there could be more than 20 because there are so many in the pipeline at different times. It's hard to know. For example, just in Fairfield County, there's New Canaan Country School, Greens Farms Academy, Sacred Heart University just started a program a year ago.
Right.
There's other programs that I know about in Fairfield County that are in the pipeline but haven't come to fruition yet. So it literally is all over the country. Colorado, Virginia Beach, all over the place.
But the national organization is based in Norwalk.
That's correct. And each program could be slightly different. For example, in the Dedham program, they have a pre-K program, which we don't have. They're the only program in the country, the pre-K program. Some go to 4th grade, we go to 12th grade. So there's some sort of wide parameters that it is an academic program, and we do the same kind of testing so we can compare our scores to the other Horizons programs. But each program really has a different flavor. Some are like the Sacred Heart program, that's a university. So they have a teaching college, so they have volunteers come from their teaching college. So every program has a little bit of a different format, but we all have a common goal.
And how's the program at GFA staffed?
We have an executive director, full-time. We have a full-time program director, part-time academic director, and a part-time parent coordinator. And then we have our teaching staff comes from all different schools. Obviously, they have a full-time teaching job during the academic year, and then literally, like, they end school Friday, they come to Horizons on Monday, and that's the same with the kids. They literally end their school, and then 2 days later they're at Horizons. So I mean, it's a big commitment because you're basically in school all summer.
Right.
By the time the Horizons program ends, the first week in August, the kids might have a week off, but their whole summer has been spent in school. So it takes a lot of commitment on the parents' part and getting them to the bus in the morning and having all the logistics work. But our staff comes from other private and public schools in the area. Obviously, we have a really, really tight community of teachers, and I mean, Danny's been there since 3rd grade. We have a lot of kids who've been there since kindergarten. We infrequently have spots available for kids. I mean, our kindergarten class, obviously, we give priority siblings, so by the time you put the siblings in, maybe you have 8 spots, and then our other grades, like maybe we'll have 1 3rd grade spot and 1 5th grade spot, but it's very, it's hard.
And so how many kids are in the program at GFA?
There's 144 in the K through 8 program,
Wow.
and then we have a high school program.
144 kids, and you only have a few spots because of siblings, and that's amazing.
Well, I think it's really hard for the staff to cull through the applications because there's so many people that would probably be fabulous in the
Right.
program, but we just have very few spots. And when Sacred Heart opened out, which is also right across town, the executive director called and said, how do you pick? This is impossible, because they were just doing 2 grades, kindergarten and 1st grade, because they're just starting.
They're just starting out,
But
and then they're going to grow it as well.
Right, they're going to go. Well, what we're hoping is that some of our kids from GFA can go to Sacred Heart University,
That would be an easier
because
commute.
now we're getting a real relationship going with them.
Right.
So I think that'd be a great fit. Their plans are to go all the way through high school, but at this point they're still in the elementary school.
Great. And how are the children selected? What are the criteria?
Sibling is the top priority.
Mm-hmm.
And with the other 10 spots we have available every year, it's need based. And we get referrals from guidance counselors, and our parent coordinator will do some homework about the family, and because there is a commitment on the family's part of attendance and filling out paperwork and getting us report cards, and I mean there's a lot of things that the parents have to do.
So there's a lot of parent support in the program.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And we have a couple events during the summer where the parents come, so they have to really want it, and it takes it's a cooperative effort.
And what's the relationship with the Bridgeport school system?
Our high school program, I would say, is a lot more connected because our academic coaches are talking to the teachers, trying to get the report cards, so I'd say it really is school by school. Some schools are fabulous, and we have a great relationship. Because our kids are in so many different schools, we started out not recruiting. I don't know what the right word is. We started out offering spots from 3 elementary schools, but what happened over time is that kids changed schools, and so now we're at I don't even want to say 20 schools. So it's very difficult for us to have a real relationship with 20 different schools. We have very good relationship with certain schools where a lot of our kids come from, but other schools not as much.
So Danny, you've come back the last 2 summers to work with the kids in the program after you've graduated. Tell me, what do you do with the kids and how does that work?
Well, in the morning we kind of do academic kind of things, and I just try my best to kind of like help the kids whatever they need. It's elementary work, so to me right now it's pretty simple. So, but I try my best to try to help them. Occasionally I might get stuck with something, but.
So what kind of subjects are they doing?
It's usually reading, writing, math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The basics.
The basics.
Yeah. And then what happens in the afternoon?
Just activities where it's, sometimes they go swimming some days. They'll have sports where they'll play some kind of activities where it's basically like physical education at a regular school. But what else? Drumming.
Dancing.
Book club. I remember that.
Yoga.
I
don't think you did yoga.
I do yoga?
I think you did yoga.
Well, if people are in the community who are interested in this, what would they do to get involved? Is there an active way for someone who's not involved with GFA to become involved in a program like this?
Absolutely. We receive a lot of in-kind services from Greens Farms Academy, but we don't receive any financial support. So a lot of our board members and volunteers come from outside the GFA community, because Horizons really it's for all of us. It's not just for GFA. It helps all of us. I always think when you're giving, you're really receiving, because you walk away from Horizons at Saturday Academy or just a regular day during the summer, and you're on a high. I mean, it's right. I mean, it's unbelievable. You just feel so good about everything, the world in general. The world seems to align when you're there. We're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for people to come to our 2 signature fundraising events. We have a golf tournament at the Country Club of Fairfield in June, and we have a fall event, which is a great just dinner, come together, fundraiser in the fall. We had some kids come and perform from our music program, which is great. But we always need, for instance, like 2 friends of mine this summer taught classes during the summer.
What was that experience like? I mean, how would you slot them into a class? What might they be doing?
Well, a friend of mine taught photography. He's my photographer. He photographs projects for me on my website. He's great, and so he taught a photography class. He took the kids around. We had little cameras, and we actually, at the fall event, we blew up some of the pictures, and we sold them at the fall event. I mean, they were fabulous. And then another friend of mine taught jewelry making.
Okay.
Yeah, so she has a jewelry business, and she came 2 afternoons a week and taught I think it was mostly girls, how to make jewelry.
What other kinds of things do you do with volunteers?
Everything. We have... Well, if you're an adult volunteer, you would do certain things, but we have a lot of student volunteers who come every day. They're not getting paid anything, and they come every day, and they do everything from lug ice to take kids to recess. They're really part of the team. And one thing I really want to emphasize is that it really is a community. I mean, from the staff who's been there, seems like forever, a lot of them, the students who've grown up with the staff. We have a fabulous executive director, fabulous program manager. I mean, they really know the kids. I mean, this isn't like a traditional school in that, because it's so small and kids come back year after year, there's so much camaraderie and closeness that is palatable when you go there. And so for the kids who come to volunteer, they really become part of that team.
Right.
And for example, my son and a couple of my nieces and nephews have volunteered there for a long time. And, as I said, we also have a lot of board members who are not from the GFA community, so that's another way to get involved or sit on one of our committees. trust me, we can find something to do for you if you want to help out.
Danny, when you went away to school, you're doing a technical program now.
Yeah.
And when you come back, how do you feel that you can help the kids that are coming behind you? What do you tell them about college? What do you help? How do you help them get prepared?
I tell them to study a lot because when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really a person who would study. I just kind of like, I would listen and it just stick in my head. But college, like, you really need to work. Like,
You gotta work.
really work. Study, tests are really big.
How about your friends who graduated with you in the program? How are they doing at school?
I mean, unfortunately, I went to a small school where
Mm-hmm.
it was like 30, maybe not even 30 in my senior class. But probably only about 6 of us that are actually still in school, in college.
But I mean, graduates with you from the program, from the
From
Horizons
the
program.
I mean, I don't really get to see much of them. I kind of try to keep in touch with them. Now we have like Facebook.
Yeah. Do you have a Facebook for the program?
Yes, we do.
And what's the address for that? We'll get it.
Okay. Monique knows.
Yeah. So, you talked about testing before and after each year. How does that work? I mean, what kind of results do you get?
Well, I don't want to brag,
Okay.
but of all the Horizons programs in the country, the program at GFA has the best academic results.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. We're pretty. We take it really seriously.
Okay.
And I think with as I mentioned, the small student teacher ratio, if kids are, no man's left behind. I mean, everyone gets what they need. If you're struggling with something, there's someone there to help you. So we're very proud of our test results.
It seems to me that people have talked for years about ways to improve education, and there are many people who feel that the public school system in this country doesn't perform the way it should.
Mm-hmm.
I think here in Westport that's not true. Obviously, it performs very well. In other places, not so well. But your approach to this seems to be have two major components. One is that there's a tremendous amount of support for each kid.
Yes.
With one teacher for every 4 students, or one support person of one sort or another for every 4 students. So that's a very high ratio. And the other is keeping kids in school basically full time for the year, so that there isn't this huge summer break that has become part of the American school system. How can we as a society apply those things to the rest of the school system? What the cost would be tremendous.
I think that some schools with more freedom outside the public school system have really tried to instill a lot of those things. I mean, Harlem Children's Zone is a great success story. I think they only get 2 or 3 weeks off during the summer, and during that time they still have other work they need to be doing. So a lot of schools that aren't constrained by the schedule of the public schools, I think, have tried to enlarge their school day and or shorten their summer break. I can imagine all the research that's been done is sort of boiled down to the effectiveness of each teacher seems to be the most important factor in kids' success. I mean, everyone used to say, oh, it's smaller class size, and the Gates Foundation, a lot of other foundations did a lot of research about that. But I think what we're finding is that it's actually the quality of the teacher. So I think what Danny was saying before is that it's really a classroom by classroom basis in terms of what's the quality of the education kids are getting and how to ensure that each teacher is of the highest quality, because our kids really deserve that, every one of them.
Right. Well, Danny, what do you want to do when you graduate from college?
I haven't figured it out yet, but
That's okay. When I was there, I had no idea either.
Well, but what you're studying is pretty specialized to some degree.
Construction management. Yeah.
Construction management.
Yeah.
Well, It's a great field to be in because there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you both of you coming in for all the work that you're doing. I think it's terrific, and it's just another example of how people can make a difference just by getting out there and doing something. So, Kathy, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, John.
And Danny, thank you.
Thank you.
I have dreams about who I want to be, what I want to do, who I will become, ways I can make an impact in this world we live in. But who's gonna help a kid like me do that? Who can show me how to get to where I want to be? My parents really love me, and they want the best for me, but they got big concerns of their own, like making sure we can pay our bills and stay in our home. My parents didn't go to college, so they couldn't really show me how to get to where I want to get to. So who could? My school? Honestly, not really. Too many kids, too few teachers. At the schools in my neighborhood, not even half the kids ever graduate from high school. And hardly anybody even thinks about going to college. That's the reality where I come from. So who's gonna help a kid like me? Me? Yeah, I got lucky. My aunt told my mom about Horizons. We applied, and I got in. And I know that for me, Horizons was my best shot. I've worked hard now at Horizons for 8 years, and my teachers here know me. I mean, they really know me. They can tell when and where I need help. And they've not only just helped me with schoolwork, they've opened my eyes to possibilities. Possibilities I would never have known about. And they've taught me to believe in myself. And now I know there is a path for me to go to where I want to get to. I'm inspired. My cousins are going to college this year, and I'm not far behind. So, who's going to help a kid like me? A kid like me? You are, and thanks for that.
That's our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. You can catch all our shows on YouTube by going to youtube.com/user/DFATVNet. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, and you can send comments or suggestions for a show to info@dfa-tv.net. If you'd like to learn more about progressive political action, we meet on the first Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. at the Silver Star Diner in Norwalk. We'd love to have you join us. Remember, change is possible, and you can make it happen. This has been Stream of Conscience. I'm your host, John Hartwell. Thanks for watching.